Today we discuss about unemployment and causes of unemployment in India. Unemployment is one of the fundamental problems of a developing country like India. First of all, let us have an overview about the presentation. In the first part, we discuss about definition of unemployment and how it is calculated in India. In the second part, we discuss about different types of unemployment. And finally, we conclude with the discussion about the reasons or causes of unemployment in India. Now, let us discuss what is unemployment and what are the recent data regarding unemployment in India. Unemployment occurs when a person who is actively searching for employment is unable to find work. Unemployment refers to the condition and extent of joblessness within an economy. Unemployment rate in India decreased to 4.90% in 2013 from 5.20% in 2012. Unemployment rate in India averaged 7.32% from 1983 until 2013, reaching an all-time high of 9.40% in 2009 and recorded low of 4.90% in 2013. Now let us go through the recent data shared by Times Now News Network. In that, NSSO data as well as PLFS data are given. NSSO means National Sample Survey Organization, that was responsible for collecting and processing data in India, and now the Modi government has brought that under the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, that is called PLFS. PLFS means Periodic Labor Force Survey, was designed with two major objectives for measurement of employment and unemployment by Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. According to that, both the data are giving the same data, that is the urban unemployment rate was 7.8%, the rural unemployment rate was 5.3%, and the overall unemployment rate was 6.1%. Taking into consideration that the total labor force was 60 crores, the unemployment rate 6.1%, that is around 3.5 crore people in India are unemployed. Now let us see how we can calculate the unemployment rate. The unemployment rate is equal to the number of unemployed divided by total number of labor force multiplied by 100. Here, what is labor force? The labor force is the people in the age group between 16 to 64. Now, let us have a small discussion about the data collection agencies in India. The National Sample Survey Office, NSSO, formerly called the National Sample Survey Organization, was the largest organization in India conducting periodic socio-economic surveys. The NSSO was set up in 1950 to conduct large-scale sample surveys throughout India. The employees of NSSO are from the Indian Statistical Service appointed through the UPSC and the Subordinate Statistical Service appointed through the Staff Selection Commission. Now, the National Sample Survey Office used to work under the Ministry of Statistics of the Indian government until May 2019. On 23rd May 2019, the NSSO merged with the Central Statistics Office CSO to form the National Statistical Office NSO. The government stated that the NSO will be headed by the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation MOSPI. The National Sample Survey Organization evolved certain concepts and standardized them to measure employment and unemployment. Mainly, there are three concepts. The first one is UPS, the activity status on which a person spent relatively long time during the 365 days preceding to the date of survey was considered the usual principal activity status, otherwise known as UPS. Now let us move to the second one, that is CWS, the current weekly activity status, that is otherwise known as CWS of a person, is the activity status obtaining for the person during a reference period of 7 days preceding to the date of survey. And finally, the method is known as CDS, that is, in the labor force surveys, the activity status of a person is determined on the basis of each day of the reference week, which is known as the current daily status, otherwise CDS of the person. Here, one table is given that shows the unemployment rates from 1977-78 to 2017-18. Here, two methods data is shown here. One is based on the UPS method and the other one is based on the CDS method. On the basis of UPS method, in 1977-78, the rural unemployment rate was 3.26, whereas the urban unemployment rate was 8.77 and the all India rate was 4.23. In 1987-88, the unemployment rate was 3.07, urban unemployment rate was 6.56 and the all India rate of unemployment was 3.77. In 1999-2000, the unemployment rate was 1.96 and urban unemployment rate was 5.23. All India rate of unemployment was 2.81. In 2004-05, the rural unemployment rate was 2.5 and the urban unemployment rate was 5.3 and all India rate of unemployment was 3.06. In 2011-12, the rural unemployment rate was 2.3 and urban unemployment rate was 3.8 and the all India average was 2.7. In 2017-18, that is the latest data, the rural unemployment rate was 5.3 and the urban unemployment rate was 7.8 and all India unemployment rate was 6.1 on the basis of UPS data. Now let us see the same data in CDS method data. That is, the rural unemployment was 7.7 and urban unemployment was 10.34 and all India rate of unemployment was 8.18 in the year 1977-78. In the year 1987-88, the rural unemployment rate was 5.25 and the urban unemployment rate was 9.36 and the all India average rate was 6.09. In the year 1999-2000, the rural unemployment rate was 7.16, the urban unemployment rate was 7.74 and the all India level rate was 7.31. And in 2004-05, the rural unemployment rate was 8.28, the urban unemployment rate was also 8.28. So the all India level unemployment rate was also 8.28. In the year 2011-12, the rural unemployment rate was 5.7, the urban unemployment rate was 5.5 and the all India average rate was 5.6. The latest data 2017-18 shows that the rural unemployment rate was 8.5, where the urban unemployment rate was 9.6 and the overall India unemployment rate was 8.9. Now let us come back to unemployment. Here we are going to discuss about different types of unemployment. Broadly speaking, there are two types of unemployment. The first one is voluntary unemployment and second one is involuntary unemployment. Unemployment is when someone could work and wants to work but is unable to find a suitable job. Now let us see what is voluntary unemployment. Voluntary unemployment is defined as a situation where the unemployed choose not to accept a job at the going wage rate. Now let us see what is involuntary unemployment. Involuntary unemployment occurs when a person is willing to work at the prevailing wages yet he is unemployed. Involuntary unemployment means he is not willing to work. He doesn't want to work at the prevailing wages. But involuntary unemployment, he is willing to work at the current wage rate but he is unable to find a job. Let us go through the different types of unemployment in India. The unemployment can be divided into three categories. The first one, urban unemployment. Second one, rural unemployment. And the third category, others. Here, we can see the urban unemployments are of two types, that is industrial unemployment and educated unemployment. The rural unemployment can be of two types. They are seasonal unemployment or disguised unemployment. Now let us see what is urban unemployment. Urban unemployment refers to unemployment that exists in the urban areas. It is primarily a phenomenon of the industrial and service sectors. There are two types of urban unemployment. They are educated unemployment and industrial unemployment. Educated unemployment is when a person is educated and is not able to find a suitable and efficient job for himself, that is known as educated unemployment. The illiterate persons who are willing and able to work in factories or industries in urban areas but cannot find work fall in this category due to lack of technical know-how, that is known as industrial unemployment. Now let us discuss about rural unemployment. Rural unemployment refers to unemployment that exists in rural areas. It is primarily a phenomenon of the agricultural sector. There are two types of rural unemployment. They are seasonal unemployment and disguised unemployment. Seasonal unemployment means the demand for a specific kind of work or workers change with the change in the season. For example, in the agricultural sector, where the demand for workers is more during harvesting than is required in other months of year. Example, such as the demand for raincoats will be more in the monsoons than the other seasons, and hence the need for the capital resources and the manpower in this industry will be more during this period. The disguised unemployment refers to the work area where surplus manpower is employed, out of which some individuals have zero or almost zero marginal productivity, such that if they were removed, the total level of output remains unchanged. For example, if a piece of land requires only 3 people to work on it, but 5 people are working on it, then the 2 extra people are said to be in a situation of disguised unemployment. Now let us discuss about the other types of unemployment. Firstly, cyclical unemployment. Cyclical unemployment is a type of unemployment which is related to the cyclical trends in the industry or the business cycle. During the depression, when the demand for a product and service declines, there can be a corresponding reduction in employment to compensate. For example, due to corona, so many lost their jobs as there is no demand for goods. Especially in shops, you can see that before there were 5 members working, now as there is no demand, the employment was cut down to maybe 1 or 2. Secondly, structural unemployment. Structural unemployment is the term economists use to describe unemployment that happens because of a mismatch between the skills of the workers have and the jobs that are actually available. Structural unemployment usually happens because of technological issue. For example, there is a vacant job is there for the computer operator. So it will be suitable for those people who is having computer knowledge. So the persons not having computer knowledge will remain unemployed. This kind of unemployment is known as structural unemployment. Next term is underemployment. It refers to a situation in which individuals are forced to work in low paying or low skill jobs. This is different from unemployment. Actually, this is not unemployment, as the person is working but not at their full capacity. The workers who are highly skilled but working in a low paying or low skill jobs, and part-time workers who would prefer to be full-time. Even though they are working at their they are not working at their full capacity. So it is known as underemployment. Now let us move to frictional unemployment. Frictional unemployment can be illustrated by someone who leaves their current job to look for another. Until they successfully find and begin another job, they are temporarily unemployed. This is the gap between old job and new job. So that is known as the frictional unemployment. Here you can see a graph of employment and unemployment in India from 1983 to 2011-12. And here you can see the population in millions, whether the population is increasing or not. You can see from this graph, and also the labor force, the workforce, number of unemployed, unemployment rate are given in this graph. Please observe the graph very well. The above graph shows the population, labor force, workforce, number of unemployed, and the rate of unemployed from 1983 to 2011-12. It reveals that on the basis of NSSO data, SP Gupta Special Group estimated the number of unemployed to be of the order of 24.7 millions in 2011-12 against 20.13 millions in 1993-94. The unemployment rate was 8.33% in 1983, which declined to 5.6% by 2011-12. Now let us go through the causes of unemployment in India. There are a number of causes for unemployment in India, but here we are going to discuss about only the important 9 points only. First one, rapid rate of population growth. Secondly, jobless growth. Third, inappropriate technology. And fourth, lack of rural industrialization. Fifth, inappropriate educational system. Sixth, lack of manpower planning. Seventh, social factors. Eighth, lack of self-employment opportunities. Finally, ninth, decline of cottage industries. Now let us discuss about the first point, rapid population growth. The most fundamental cause of widespread unemployment in India is the rapid rate of population growth, which lead to increase in the labor force. The rate of population growth rose to 2.2% per annum during 1960s. Because of that, the increase in labor force also rose to 1.9% per annum. The population increased from 718.2 millions in 1983 to 1227.4 millions in 2011-12. At the same time, the labor force also increased from 261.33 millions to 440.4 millions. There was a net increase of 179.07 millions in labor force. It is very difficult to provide gainful employment to the fast growing labor force as India is a developing country. Now let us go through the second cause of unemployment in India, that is jobless growth. During the first 3 decades of economic planning, the GDP growth rate was as low as 3.5% per annum. In this period, employment also increased at a moderate rate of 2% per annum. The rate of growth of employment picked up considerably to 2.9% per annum during the 5-year plan period from 1999-2000 to 2004-5, but again declined to almost 0% over next 5 years, that is from 2004-5 to 2009-10. Thus, the country could create only 1 million jobs during 2004-5 to 2009-10. In between 2005 and 2008, the rate of growth of GDP was over 9% per annum, but could not create more job opportunities. Thus, we can say that India witnessed a phenomenon called jobless growth. Now, let us discuss the third point, that is inappropriate technology. India is a labor abundant country. On the other hand, capital is a scarce factor. So, for the better development of the country, it would have used labor intensive techniques of production. However, not only in industries but also in agriculture, the producers are increasingly substituting capital for labor. This inappropriate adoption of technology causes for high unemployment in India. The fourth cause of unemployment in India is the lack of rural industrialization. The rural areas consist of very large population. This heavy pressure of population is on the land and the cause for the backward nature of farming. Thus, there exists a large number of underemployment and unemployment in rural areas. In order to solve this issue, there is the need of rural industrialization with proper training. The fifth and very important cause of unemployment in India is inappropriate educational system. The educational system in India is defective. In the British period, what Lord Macaulay had introduced in the country had not yet changed much. India's educational policy does not aim at development of human resources. So it failed to provide employment to all those who have received it. So recently, the government of India had taken a new policy called New Education Policy 2020. We can hope that it will change the educational system in India. The sixth cause we are going to discuss is lack of manpower planning. Manpower planning is a very important part of overall planning of the country. It is obvious that the country cannot prosper unless the right number of employees having required skills, talents and qualifications are available at right time. Manpower planning is done to fulfill two main objectives. Firstly, to utilize the present employees fully, and secondly, to fill up future manpower requirements. The seventh cause we are going to discuss is social factors. Since independence, education among women has changed their attitudes towards employment. Many of them now compete with the men for jobs in the labor market. The economy has, however, failed to respond to these challenges, and the net result is continuous increase in the unemployment backlog for women. Here you can see the data of gender gap, the differences in employment, differences in wage rate, etc. You can observe here. Now let us discuss the eighth cause, that is lack of self-employment opportunities. The rural, marginal and landless households continue to remain unemployed or underemployed due to lack of self-employment. The well-educated youth lacking entrepreneurship qualities, waiting for years together to get government jobs at meager wages. In this graph, you can clearly see that the self-employment in India is decreasing. Now let us discuss the ninth cause, that is decline of cottage industries. In rural India, village or cottage industries are the only means of employment, particularly of the landless people. They depend directly on the cottage industries for their livelihood. But these were adversely affected by the industrialization process. Actually, they were not able to compete with the modern factories. As a result, they are gradually closing down. Now let us discuss about the effects of unemployment. The first one is poverty. Unemployment and poverty goes side by side. The problem of unemployment gives rise to the problem of poverty. Thus, the growth of employment can reduce the rate of poverty in the country as well. Second point is anti-social activities. Young people, after a long time of unemployment, find the wrong way to earn money. This includes all the anti-social activities like smuggling, growth of rowdies, etc. Thirdly, drugs consumption. Increase in the consumption of the alcohol and other drugs due to the stress of not having a proper income source. And finally, it may lead to suicide. Society often does not accept those who do not have a job and income. This constant avoiding attitude destroys the self-esteem of the individuals. Thus, unemployed youths accept suicide as the last option of their life. The above discussion highlights a very important point, that is, unemployability is a bigger problem than unemployment. That means in India, more than 50 lakh students graduate per year, but in that very few are fit to be employed. More than 50% of the Indian graduates lack basic employability skills. So it is one of the main drawback of Indian education system. Now let us go through the latest statistical data. That is, India's unemployment rate stood at 6.1% in 2017-18. In that, rural unemployment rate was 5.3%, whereas the urban unemployment rate was 7.8%. Here you can see some more data regarding India's employment and unemployment. 7 to 10 million jobs were created in the year 2017-18, but 11 million jobs lost in 2017-18. 18.7% of jobless urban males are aged between 15 to 29. 27.2% jobless urban females are aged between 15 to 29 in 2017-18. 3.5 million jobs lost in manufacturing sector since 2016. Here also you can see a comparative data between Labor Ministry's data and National Sample Surveys data regarding the labor force participation and unemployment rate. Thank you for watching the video presentation, and if you like the video, don't forget to like and subscribe.